What's going on, Team Eclipse Grunts? I'm Admin Insider, joined with a lot of other admins and executives today to give you guys a new sort of segment called podcasts. I don't really know if we're going to do anything special with this or have any schedule with it, but with the announcement coming up of possibly a new game on May 21st, we wanted to do a little group discussion on this. So obviously we all have our own opinions on what's going to be the next thing that they're going to announce, so let's just dive right in. Who wants to
No
begin
one say
this?
anything. Don't say anything. Shh, no one say anything.
That's reasonable.
All right, so obviously the first thing that I think most people are expecting is Pokemon Z. So who wants to give their thoughts on that?
All right, I want to jump in real quick on this one. All right, so as you know, everybody is pretty excited about the next game, and a lot of people have been predicting for a long time about the following up of X and Y, which would be Pokemon Z. Now, there's a few reasons behind why people believe this. We have the obvious reason that since the games were named Pokemon X and Y, and we have a Pokemon named Zygarde, that the next Pokemon is going to be Z. And it actually follows the formula that we have seen for many other games, such as Pokemon Gold, Silver, and then we had Crystal. Now, when it comes to the time frame, I think we're not ready for that yet. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, I actually have to agree. So, I mean, in this sort of like topic, it sort of depends on what period you got into Pokemon, and as far as like for me, I'm looking at it from a competitive standpoint because after 5th gen or after 4th gen, I just stopped caring about naturally I just stopped caring about the storyline. I just couldn't keep up anymore, and I just didn't care. So, looking at it from like a competitive standpoint, I'm looking for a game that's gonna completely change the meta. If you played, everybody should have played X and Y, essentially. If you were in the Pokemon community and you played X and Y, and you played before X and Y, you understand that X and Y changed up the meta so much.
Dramatically, yes.
Yeah, by including Mega Evolutions, by including the new Fairy typing, by buffing Steel type and nerfing all these other sorts of types.
Yeah,
And,
exactly.
Yeah. So, as far as like a competitive standpoint goes, Pokemon Z, if it is added, I just don't want it to be like Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, because to me, ORAS was sort of like Fire Red and Leaf Green. It didn't add anything new particularly. It just rehashed the game. So whenever ORAS came out and we just added up a new bunch of like Mega Evolutions, the metagame wasn't changed. In fact, it was it was changed, but not for the positive, because it shifted from all these X and Y Megas. Like, we don't see Mega Medicham anymore, or like Mega Blastoise. You don't see those anymore. You
It's
see
more of the Oras Megas.
Yeah, you'll see the
Exactly.
Mega B drills and the
For example, the one I
Mega
just brought to our
Sharpedos.
Yeah.
so
Altaria.
Right. But Raizo, what do you think?
Well, considering like all the points that I've found from other people about Pokemon C, I think I could definitely see that being the most likely thing that's going to come out of this next Korokoro leak or whatever. And I really think that, to be honest, in my honest opinion, I think that they're going to go with Pokemon Z as the next game. But to be honest, I'm actually hoping for X2 and Y2 because I just want like a new story completely. But that's just me. Or a spin-off would be nice too.
I want to hop in on this segment. A lot of you guys that watch my channel know that we're doing a Mr. Dungeon up here right now, and I'm hoping to God, hoping Lord Arceus that we get a new Mr. Dungeon game, but it's nothing like the previous Gen 5 one that we had, because that game was complete junk. I want a new Mr. Dungeon game that kind of is like, the Generation 4 ones or the previous Generation 3 ones. If we can get something like that, a chance for them to like improve it, then I will go ahead and I will do an LP for that on my channel. But I do agree that it could possibly be a Pokemon Z, but I still think that it may be a little too early for that. Because
if we can get back to the topic of Pokemon Z for a second, I thought it would be interesting to talk about Mega Evolutions that we think would be a good addition to the game. So obviously, I think we all want Mega Flygon.
Yes.
Yeah, let's go.
Other than Mega Flygon,
Other than Mega
what do we
Flygon?
think
Other
be-
than Mega Flygon,
Mega
there's
Yeah.
Dunsparce. Hello, come on.
Boo.
I
Mega-
just
Mega
did, I
Dunsparce.
just did a poem on Flygon yesterday for our channel. I want Mega Flygon.
I would like to see a Mega Snorlax.
That would
Oh,
be
man.
so.
Actually
Or
be
Mega
pretty cool to have
Wailord.
too. Yeah.
Mega Wailord.
Mega
is coming
Wailord.
to the screen.
I'm
see,
thinking
how
of
Mega
I want a
Slaking.
Mega Farfetch'd because Farfetch'd has like
Whoa.
no love. It has no love. I
Huge
want
power
Yeah,
Mega
I wanna have a
Slacking.
Mega Farfetch,
There you
maybe a Mega Corsola. Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm a big advocate of Mega Meganium, Mega Yanmega, and Mega Dragonite.
See, but aren't they going to go
Mega-
through
Mega
every gen?
Dragonite would be so cool. to have.
But aren't they going to go through every gen's like starters and give them Mega Evolution? Because that's what they've been doing so far. So
Let's see. I think honestly, but then again, if we were to like say for example dedicate them to like Sinnoh or Johto starters, that would mean having potentially for them to make like another remake. I don't think that they're just going to add in like starters for like Pokemon Z. I think that they would have to make a potential remake, and I think, in all honesty, out of like all the remakes that there could be, there's already been a Johto remake in 2010. I think that the next remake is going to be in Sinnoh.
Yeah,
just
actually,
Kanto.
that
Yeah.
could segue into one
Yeah.
of the other talking points I had for today is a remake of Generation 1, which
Love
would
it.
be for the
Possibly.
20th anniversary. So it would come out
That's
not
a
this year, but
point,
next
yeah.
year in
Love it
February.
already.
So
I love it.
does anyone
Great
have any
idea.
thoughts on the
Generation
Generation
1
I would
remake.
like.
What
I would
about-
want a Generation 1 remake.
I wouldn't mind that for
Yeah.
the 20th
am
anniversary.
I the only one who's a little wary on that? I mean, to be honest, don't get me wrong. I love Generation 1. Generation 1's Bay AF, but
Not
the
a Gen 1
problem,
fanboy.
yeah, but the problem is I'm not a Gen 1 fanboy. So
I'm
when
not-
it comes to like a remake of Gen 1, I feel like I'm going to run into another ORAS issue with just another rehashing of the game and not adding anything like new, which I understand is the point of a remake at the same time a little bit, but I mean for them to just like
it's just the same game with just better enhanced graphics.
And
exactly.
but there's
And that's
also
what
the
I- that's
possibility
what I-
that they could do sort of a return to Kanto as like a different character, have something like that going on.
That would be
Which
cool.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
I-
think
I
they've
wouldn't mind
done
that.
before.
No.
And they
Well,
said that they
Johto.
didn't want to go down the same path they've always done. So
Yeah, but like that, I feel like that's just a little too drastic for them.
And I think it's too early for Generation 7.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
pretty much. I think
yeah,
we're
it's
definitely
not.
gonna get a remake of Generation 1 at one point, but I,
will.
myself, I think it's gonna happen more on the 25th anniversary. By looking at other Nintendo games such as The Legend of Zelda, who already hit its 25th anniversary, they tend to do, they bring back like the best games they had during, you're right, probably 20 years,
I like to give
but
random
I've said
applause
25.
to Legend of Zelda because that is a great franchise. Alright, back to Pokemon.
Yeah.
as far
but,
as far as like a Pokemon first gen like remake would go, like Fire Red and Leaf Green, like it sort of clarified some of the like like for example, it clarified like one of the issues of like how the NPCs were Vertical Fairy and Diglett with like an S at the end. Like it's like it edited some of the issues that were going on with the first gen and just like clarified the sprites, and it did all this and it modernized it. And if they did that with first gen, like for the 20th anniversary, I feel like for them going backwards like that wouldn't be progressive enough. Like if
well,
you
the thing is this: when Auras came out, they created a really breaking point because they announced. I know you guys might not follow the story that much, but it was confirmed in Auras that there's a multiverse phenomena that's happening in the games, and if you create a timeline, you will notice that Auras and X and Y, they're both on a different timeline where Mega Evolution actually happened, which points to the fact that we can get pretty much every single other generation that has been created up to this point with Mega Evolution. That's why I feel that they're going to have to introduce Gen 1, Gen 2. They have to introduce all these generations again in order to add into that
And
timeline where
at
Mega
the
Evolution
same
exists.
time, too, you got to look at all the stars we got too. They can't just make megas for the Kanto and the Hoenn. If you're going to do that, then you're going to have to make it for all of them.
exactly
the problem
Yeah.
I have with that is that some of the starters in other generations are already super powerful as it is, like
Infernape, yeah.
Superior,
Ninja Cough.
Infernape, for example,
like
yeah.
Contrary, Superior. It just is blowing up
Maybe a little
everything.
bit-
Yeah, but see, you can also make a variation on Contrary Superior because, like, Charizard was already a pretty good. I mean, it was pretty good, but as far as like Contrary Superior goes on a competitive level, it is good. But then you have people like Drayano who are releasing like ROM hacks that make it like a dragon grass type. Like, there's still so many variations you can still make on these Pokemon, so it's not just concretely based like that. Like, Unburdened Superior, or not Superior, sorry, Sceptile. I mean, that was viable in like that was viable in the competitive scene. There are a lot of things that were viable starters, but the only thing is the starters tend to have a very rounded like base stat total simply because they're the starters.
Yeah. And then we got Blaziken too, who's
you're starting out the game, so you kind of need something that's based around like that allows for like the younger gamers to have like an easier time playing the game. So that way they're not like, oh, I could only do special attacks, stuff like that. But essentially, like, yeah, that's it. You'd have to just, I guess, there's still so many variations you can do. So there is plenty of stuff they can still do.
One thing I would like Nintendo to introduce to the Pokemon franchise is maybe like an easy, medium, or hard mode on the games, because in Black and White 2, they have a thing called challenge mode where, you know, the levels will go up maybe like 3 to 4 levels.
Yeah, and
I know what you're talking about.
Well.
Yeah, and it's easy mode. Yeah, that'll be pretty cool.
I would like to have that because, you know, ORAS and X and Y was a complete fucking cakewalk. It wasn't, I mean,
yes,
storyline was great.
You know what I think they should add?
Well, then I guess my thing with X and Y is if you turn off the EXP share, it's actually challenging. I think it's up to the player to decide the difficulty.
Good point, yeah.
Oh,
very,
no,
very
even
very
with
good.
the EXP share, the game was still easy.
Like,
Even
yeah, I'm
without
not gonna lie. Even without the EXP share, like I remember I didn't
It
even
was
like.
still, but I mean, like having the
I never
extra on
activated it.
compared to having a not on it.
I mean, of course, turning it on would make it a million times easier, but still,
I mean, it's
even
like-
without it, it was still like easy as hell.
But I see it like this. With the experience share, it turned out to be all your Pokemon would be broken. Without the experience share, all the Pokemon would be a little bit over, you know, a little bit over leveled, but not like completely over leveled, like broken status.
Now, I wanted to ask you guys, going back to the next Pokemon game, right? And we mentioned Pokemon Z, and Arizo brought up the point that, hey, we could perhaps get Pokemon X and Y too. The same thing they did with Pokemon Black and White, because Nintendo and Game Freak has been known for breaking up that pattern.
Because there was the speculation about for the story mode in X2, Y2, for example, there was this one where they said that Zygarde could like combine itself, kind of like how Kyurem did with Reshiram or Zekrom,
That
where it would
sounds
combine
like a
itself
real
with the
vibe.
power of the tree to turn into Zygarde X or whatever. And
Power
then,
of the tree.
yeah, you know, because you know
I
how
don't want
you know how
that.
Xerneas' form originally is a tree when it's passive, and it's not even like not when it was. If you played X and you went into Lysandre's lab, Xerneas was a tree before it woke up. Then Zygarde would combine with that and turn into a Zygarde X form, and then with the cocoon and turn into a Zygarde Y.
See, I honestly would be very disappointed if that happened,
I
because
just don't want to see that.
it just seems like a rehash of something that happened
Yes, yes.
I
So-
know. It was just something that I've saw.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
what people are throwing.
exactly. Yeah.
Another thing that people have been throwing at it, and I think it's pretty cool, is the idea that the next game could actually be a prequel to X and Y.
Well, that would be lovely.
One
Right?
thing I would like to see is a Pokemon Coliseum. That
Yes!
I would love to see. But
That or Snap 2.
with the Wii U, Snap 2.
Hey, you
Yeah,
Pikachu.
so if we want to get onto the topic of spin-off options,
Pokemon Channel 2.
let's
Hello.
we can go ahead
okay.
and do that.
I have
Hey, you
to
Pikachu
kind of
too.
bounce off of what Mystic said. The Coliseum and XD Gale Darkness series. I would love to see another one.
Yeah.
But I would like it to like steer away
on a
from what they
console.
did in XD and
Let's
rather
get
have
off.
it closer to like Coliseum, because
like
like
a console.
Coliseum I believe was a really like decent game, but like XD Gale of Darkness wasn't really
And
that great.
if they were to make it, I hope
And
you guys
needs one
don't
Mirror
make
B.
it- Yeah, I really wouldn't want them to make it on the
Mirror
Wii
B
U,
back.
because the Wii U it's just way too motion-like, and it would just kind of steer away from like the typical Pokemon game, you know, that we're usually used to seeing, you know, where you have like a controller or like a handheld.
Yeah, I'd rather like to see it on the 3DS because
I
Well,
would
here's,
mind
here's
seeing
the
on
thing. Here's the
3DS.
thing about like that game in particular. Whenever it first came out, it wasn't like super popular. So I mean, as far as like initiative, or not initiative, but I guess desire to make the game goes, from like a marketing standpoint, it's not like 100% there. It's you see like that all the time, just because it wasn't like popular immediately, and it's grown like a cult following as of late.
Yeah, that's what I was
because
about
of,
to
like,
bring up.
As of like lately, I don't.
Yeah, I
understand
believe
how,
like lately,
when we
like
were
people
kids,
who
yeah.
have been doing Let's Plays on it,
and our
on
community
their
especially,
channels have
like,
been like making.
Nappy took it. Chugga Conroy did it a few years back.
I know Munching Orange.
Munching Orange did it.
Did one, yeah. That's what I was about to say. Munching Orange.
Yeah, like people have been.
But as far as like if they do another like XD Gale of Darkness or Coliseum, and they have an interest in like the Shadow Pokemon idea, then they're gonna have to like make
Let
it
us encounter
something.
wild Pokemon normally.
Yeah, 'cause the XD Gale of Darkness method of like baiting in Pokemon was, I mean, it was cool for like a little kid,
Stupid.
but as of like as a young
It
adult,
just got
like,
really annoying.
yeah, that was actually really annoying.
Well, mark my words, guys. Watch it. It's going to be Pokemon Pinball. That's what they're going to announce.
No,
Pokemon
you
Pinball.
know, if we're gonna be real, the next Pokemon game they're gonna announce is gonna be Hey You Pikachu 2.
There you go.
And
That
Pikachu's
was-
Pokemon,
gonna be even more
hey,
stubborn than
Pokemon
ever.
Channel 2. Pokemon Channel
Yes,
2.
Pokemon Channel 2.
We gotta
Pokemon
get
Channel
this
2,
back.
watch it. It's
We
gonna
gotta get
happen.
this.
And
Okay,
See,
then
there's also the
everything that's
possibility
gonna-
that it's going to be
everything that's
some
gonna
sort
be
of
on the-
announcement for the new Pokken Fighters game, which
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I think
Everything
has
that's gonna
been
happen on
released
that
in
TV.
Japan.
Yeah.
Or
Everything's gonna
has
happen
it?
on that TV screen on like the Pokemon Channel 2 is just gonna be like
Maybe
Pichu, just like
they could-
Pichu. P.
maybe they could possibly give us like a release date, maybe for when the Pokemon game was
Yeah,
going to come out
because
for
I
the
believe
US.
it's
Wasn't originally
available
not-
in
I think they said it
Japanese
was exclusive.
arcades,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's not available like to purchase
for
so
cartridge. Yeah.
They
I think
may
it was-
end
I
up
think it was
doing
an
something for
exclusive
that,
thing.
maybe on the Wii U, maybe the 3DS, maybe both.
Kind of like
It
how they
really-
did for Smash.
I think they said that it was supposed to be exclusive to Japan.
As far as like another spin-off goes, there's a very high probability that it will be on the Wii U, simply because there's not a lot of marketing for the Wii U right now, because, you know, I know a lot of people who've only bought the Wii U simply for Smash or for like
Mario Kart 8.
Mario Kart, and that's it. And there's like, they need something for the Wii U, like logistically. So there's a huge possibility that if there is like another Pokemon game released, as far as like a spin-off goes, it's just going to be on the Wii U. And I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about that. I just know I wouldn't really want that, since I don't own a Wii U.
Yeah, I would be okay with that, because the Wii U, it really is a really good system. It's just there really isn't much for it. And having one, I would be very happy with a new Pokemon game for it.
Yeah, I mean, they'll definitely have to bring that back. I mean, Pokemon has been always like handheld oriented, and we only had a few games on consoles. So bringing it back to
They
a
have
main
to
console
stick to
would
the
be
concept
huge.
of Pocket Monsters, because that's what the name is. It's called Pocket Monsters. They have
And
to
there's
stick
also-
to the handheld system.
Yeah, there's also a
Sex Gen
possibility that they
Stadium.
go back to this style of Pokemon Stadium.
Oh, you
Or-
took it right there. God damn
So-
it, Scott.
So if they decide to do that, they had Pokemon Battle Revolution.
That was
They could end up doing something like that.
See,
for
the problem
Wii
with
U.
Battle Revolution was there was no like replayability
Story.
value on that. There was no story. But I mean, as far as like a console, like whenever XD Gale of Darkness and Coliseum were first released, it was to just sort of get the GameCube to have a little bit more of like, I guess, yeah, variety, and have Pokemon to expand a little bit beyond, just the handheld consoles. So it was it was a good marketing move, as well as a good just logistical move, because it was to give the GameCube a little bit more, exposure. So that's the main reason. So if they did this for the Wii U, it wouldn't be that different of a console.
Well, you know what, guys? You noticed what Wii U, Nintendo has been doing lately with most of his games regarding both handhelds and consoles. They are able to somehow talk to each other. If you look at, let's take Super Smash Brothers for example, they have a port for it for the Nintendo 3DS, and they also have one for the main console. So it is possible that they could in fact create a Pokemon Pokemon Stadium game that could actually link up to whatever games you have now. It's the same they did with Nintendo 64. I don't know if you guys remember, or maybe you guys are too young because I'm the oldest one here.
Yeah, I remember 64.
When you had the little expansion pack or whatever it was.
Oh yeah, weren't you able to link the game and play it on your TV?
Correct. You were
And
able
you were
to
also
link
able
it
to
in.
like speed it up too.
Yeah, and you were able to transfer. You were able to transfer.
Yeah, they tried
you
to do
know,
that with
the-
Battle Revolution as well, because you could do that with your DS. You could transfer over Pokemon. to the
Yeah.
DS.
Well, I also remember they had something for the GameCube that you could play Game Boy Advance games through your GameCube.
Yeah.
The whole thing
The
that you
Game
put
Boy
on the bottom
Player.
of it. Yeah, Game Boy Player.
Yeah, that was a really.
Yeah,
I think they've
that
done
made-
stuff like it. It just hasn't been much popular.
Yeah, a lot of people tend not to, because mechanically trying to get it to work has always been a little frustrating, I suppose, because like I had one and I never really used it. But I mean, you see it in like, I'm pretty sure you see it in like most common like like Nintendo things. So, I mean, to have like another thing like that wouldn't be too different, you know? It'd be pretty
Yeah.
smart.
Yeah, it would actually probably work out. So yeah. So what do you guys overall think would happen then? What is that announcement? What do you guys feel what they're truly going to announce on May 21st?
Well, in my opinion, I think they're just gonna announce Pokemon Z.
So we got one Pokemon Z, Mystic.
Mystery Dungeon.
We got a Mystery Dungeon. Slaxers,
Logically, I'm gonna have to say Mystery Dungeon.
Mystery Dungeon. What about you, Scott?
Honestly, like I don't even have a prediction because I don't want to get my hopes up for anything.
I hope it got
Smart move.
So it's just it could be I don't have any gut feeling at all. Like I have like 20% of me is saying Pokemon Z, another 15% is saying Mystery Dungeon, another like 15% is saying some new console RPG. Like it's completely mixed up.
Yeah, we only have a few days, so we're just gonna have to wait. But you know, and it all started thanks to like some sort of leak they had on a magazine that's similar to Coro, and we're expecting to see that. So there's gonna be a big hype, you know, starting next week.
True.
And-
I guess sort of like a last minute like little defense of like my idea of like Mystery Dungeon. Like we stated earlier, I feel like it's too early for a Pokemon Z already.
Yeah, maybe. I just think that because Mr. Dungeon hasn't been done since the days of Black and White. Eventually, I mean, the franchise isn't like a complete letdown. People still do like it, and I honestly think that now, since it's been a little bit over 2 years, and since it was around maybe 1 year to 2 year after the Generation 5 Mystery Dungeon was released, I think now would be a good time to release the Generation 6 Mystery Dungeon game out now, because it kind of revolves around like that 2 year gap between each game when they came out.
Well, that is true, but like I said
Yeah.
before, the Game Freak has been known for breaking up patterns as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But anyway, guys, I think we need to start wrapping this up.
Yeah. Discussions. Man.
Yeah, we went over it, and I think we could just keep going forever. But
We can. I can talk
yeah,
for ages.
So I guess that's all we're going to be talking about today. So if you've
Right.
enjoyed this podcast style video, then definitely leave a like, comment what you think, and we can either keep
Also,
doing these
yeah, if
or
you-
stop doing them. So
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you
def-
happen to agree with or disagree with one with like, some opinions, please make sure to put them down in the comment section below, because this is just one giant conversation. So,
yeah, definitely. If you guys want to see more, please let us know. We are having actually these conversations all the time in our chat, and we just decided to record it for you guys. So, something that you don't necessarily have to be watching. You could just have us out and keep doing what you guys are doing and just listen to our opinion. And we're going to be covering a lot of stuff here on the channel. Every time any news regarding the game, we're definitely going to be covering it for you guys. So make sure to always come back and check us out.
sure, for sure.
all right, thanks again for watching, and this has been pretty
Team
much
Eclipse.
half of Team Eclipse signing
Yeah.
off.